Hello, I'm MC Toon, and it's Tuesday night, and that means we've got usually a debate. This isn't quite a debate. This is Flat Out Hero, who says maybe something about not going with Flat Earth anymore. I've got him here. He's not on screen. Um, he might show up on screen a little bit. But how you doing, Flat Out Hero?
It's been a lot better, but I guess I've been a lot worse.
You could be a lot worse.
Yeah, I guess I've been a lot worse too, though.
All right. Make sure I got my audio. There we go. I was getting a little extra there. So okay. Well, do you want to, I don't know, do you want to explain your position?
Well,
What you were thinking?
my position is this. Uh, I know now that cosmology works for flat Earth, but or for the round Earth, but I still have a lot of questions, man. So I'm not sure what you call me, but I believe the globe is right. I've just
Okay.
still got a lot of questions.
All right. Well, that's fair. Um, I think you would not be surprised that there's a lot of people that wonder
I wonder what
at your sincerity. S-
why
Um,
why why would I not sincerely say that?
uh, I'm just
Um,
saying that there's a lot of people that do wonder. So,
for sure.
um, is there? I mean, if for people that are maybe curious about whether or not you're serious, do you have anything that maybe
Um,
can
I'm I'm
answer? Yeah.
I'm morally willing to pay the debt that I feel that I owe now. I mean, that's pretty much. I don't see any other proof that I could give. That's my goal now is to make sure I get you guys paid off.
So, you agree that you owe you or be clear on that. You
I,
owe because
yeah,
of the challenge. People maybe don't
yeah,
know about the challenge, so maybe a background on
okay.
that.
Well, the background on that is a couple of years ago, probably like 3 years ago. I made a $100,000 challenge, and Whoopi and you, Tim, you guys answered it, and then it wasn't done in the way that I had wanted it to be done. Is not the way that I had challenged Whoopi originally, but I messed up on the official challenge video where I didn't mention Mercator map and all that, like because I'm stupid. But yeah, then you guys did everything except for what was it? It was you used map with curvature, right? You
No, I
used,
use
used
these maps up on the wall behind me.
the ones that account for curvature.
All maps do. So
Well, I
yeah.
mean, well, yeah, but uh, anyway, so yeah, the one that you used said use curvature, and you didn't end up exactly where you started, but
I ended up right where I started.
well, now you're like one point something degrees off or whatever, right?
All the corners, all three corners were 90 degrees, 90.0 degrees on my uh
I know that, but I'm saying,
my angleometer here. I used my digital angleometer.
yeah, but when you try to get back to square one, it was a little bit off, wasn't it?
Nope. It was spot on.
I'll have to review that video, but I'm pretty sure that's what I remember, but I have to review that video. Wolfie did it using like the electronic flight charts, which it's not what I was asking for, but and then I mean, I don't feel that I owe it because no one has proved that it's flyable, but I feel that I owe it because I was doing it to make sure that I was right about flat Earth, and now I found out that I'm not, or at least I'm not anywhere near as confident in it at all. So I'm willing to give you guys that.
Okay. Um
Well,
so what kinds of questions do you have that are still outstanding?
loads, but one of them has been like the Earth curve calculator. I don't really have a question about that, but like the Earth curve calculator, if you can you screen share? Can you do that?
Yeah, do you want me to pull up the Earth curve calculator for you?
Yeah, I can't even show my video. I can't do nothing. But
Yeah, I
yeah,
saw
if you
your
could,
video from earlier today
yeah,
where you used, I don't know which Earth curve calculator you used, but
all of them say the same thing that use millimeters that I've seen, which is like the first five, six, seven.
yeah, millimeters is a little weird because
I mean,
why would you use millimeters?
well, because what I was doing when I originally found that out, what I was doing was I was trying to see how much curvature there was from like LA to or well from the East Coast to the West Coast, right? So 2,800 miles. And I was trying to figure out how much curvature there was, but I mean, obviously, there's no observer height. It's just the
Yeah,
curvature. So I was
Earth
trying to,
Earth Earth curve calculator is about what you see,
well, I
not
mean,
not about
but
how much actual curve. There's a different formula for that.
yeah, well, I mean, that's what I was wondering what it would say. And then I discovered that, it's when it says 1 millimeter, it says that your horizon is like 370 feet. And I mean, I did that
But
video
but why would
before.
you do 1 millimeter?
I just told you, I was trying to find out the curvature from the 2,800 miles.
From how many miles? Oh,
2,800.
so you're trying to use the wrong tool for the job, I think is what's going on.
That's what I was doing, but I'm saying like what it led to. So when I saw that it was 370 feet to the horizon, I was obviously like, wait a minute, I've done a video on that, and I've made the horizon come up to the camera at above like 1 millimeter at less than 6 feet or about 6 feet, maybe 7 feet. I don't know. My judgment could be off, but it's definitely nowhere near
So,
360.
well, there's a couple other problems.
Yeah.
One is that's meant to be across water, and your patio isn't across water.
No, but if you sit in a pool and you do the same thing, it's still like if you put your goggles one or your eyesight
Yeah,
right 1 millimeter
and
above,
in a
and
pool that's really still and you're in it, how high
yeah,
are the waves?
no waves.
No,
I'm not
there's
talking about
waves. You can't be yourself in a pool without waves.
what are you talking about?
Well, there's always little waves when you're in a
No,
pool.
there's not always little waves. What about indoor pools? No, there's not.
If
Olympic
you
pool.
are in the pool,
Olympic pool.
it doesn't matter how big the pool is. If a human is in the pool, the human is moving a little bit, and the waves are going to be there.
I
So
mean,
1 millimeter isn't. It's the wrong tool for the job, right?
I
If you need
mean,
to if you need to
the
pound in a nail, it's like using a screwdriver.
but 370 feet and 6 feet is too big of a difference for just a little wave to make. You can put your head a foot above water and you're still probably not going to see that. You know?
It's the wrong thing. It's not meant to be doing millimeter type calculations, and
They give you
you don't have we don't have the type of precision to do that type of measurement either. So so let's do this. I have the the preferred Earth curve calculator from Walter Bislin. But you know what? I'm a little bit off track here. I need to do this first. I
I'm
got
not
a
trying.
package today. Just a second. I got to do this quick. I got a package today from Sean Hawkins. Now his address is on here. I know it, but I don't. You people don't want to know it because the last time the assassins got Sean Hawkins' address, there were an awful lot of assassins that had to be disposed of. So we don't want that to happen again. So I won't show that, but I'll open it quick here. Little box. Are you here, Sean? Are you here, Sean? Oh, I don't want to open it if he's not here. I don't see him. I don't see him. Sean. Oh, there he is. Okay, there he is. I see him. He's debate night. All right. There. His name in chat is debate night. There it is. It's all right. He told me it's for my phone. I hope it's lasers. Oh, look at that. Oh, that's so cool. You see that? It's a Batman uh thing. I suppose I'm supposed to put on my phone.
Your flashlight. How you
There.
hook it up?
It shines it shine you won't be able to see it. It shines up on the wall, a little bat signal. Oh, that's so cool. Thanks. Thank you, Sean. That is cool. And yeah, please don't let the assassins know where he lives, because we don't need to clean up any more assassins. Okay. All right, I'm going to show you the Walter Bislin Earth Curve Calculator,
Yep.
which is a really good one because it includes refraction, which there's always refraction, especially when flat earthers do things. They always do it over water and like close to the surface of water where refraction is maximized. So you need to take that into account, especially
Well, I mean,
when you're near
they've
water.
done tests too, man. Like the lakes that froze over. I've seen those too. The lasers.
Yeah. All right. So here is Walter Bislin's, and you should be able to see this, right?
Yeah, I see.
Okay. So this is the one to use, and refraction here is done with the coefficient of refraction. So over water, your smallest is going to be like 0.33.
Mm-hmm.
So you see things like, they're like, oh, I was 30 miles away.
Does it go to millimeters?
No, it's the wrong tool. There's no reason to try to use millimeters for this particular type of
Well, the
thing.
only reason that I was trying to use millimeters is because I know what that horizon is. It should be about like 6 feet. So I was trying to make sure it was, verifiable once I saw that it was
Yeah,
370.
but your patio isn't water.
No, it does. Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's still flat. It's still level. It's not. It's only 6 feet of flatness. You don't need to worry about waves or anything like that. It's 15 feet of flatness, but the 6 feet mark is where the horizon ends.
Yeah, and also you didn't, in your patio,
Mm.
you don't have millimeter precision placement of the tiles.
Yeah, I did. I showed that it was level all the way across.
But not millimeter margin of error. So
It's a water bubble. It's millimeter margin of error.
no, it's not.
Oh,
In
level.
order to get a patio that's 6 feet, 10 feet long, and ensure that you have a millimeter precision from one end to the other, you would probably need to have one straight edge that was at least that length.
A laser. We use
And
lasers when we do.
but lasers are optical,
Yeah.
and then so you can't do an optical test with
Yeah.
when you've
You,
used a laser to
we have a
guarantee, right?
we have a we have a
You
meter stick that
it's
extends up, and
yeah.
it goes accurate within millimeters.
Okay. It can't be a laser though,
Well, I'm just saying that's
because
how
a
we make.
laser is optical. So you can't do an optical test based on a measurement that you did
No, I'm saying
optically.
building a flat patio, you would use a laser
For yeah, because your margin of error can be a couple
within
centimeters across the
an eighth
surface.
of an inch. 1/8 of an inch is what we do.
Yeah. Okay. Which is that more or less than a millimeter?
It's less. It's more than a millimeter, but it's accurate enough to do 2 millimeter. We just do it
Okay.
at 1/8 of an inch because I do road work. I don't actually build patios. I
Okay.
do less accurate. I know
Okay.
that they can. So I use the same tools.
So here is so all right, let's get back to this then. So if we're looking at something like let me switch to this here. We say the observer height is, let's say they're 180 feet, and the distance is 30 miles. How much should be obstructed?
0.
About 44 feet hidden right there. See that?
That says
So
44 feet of it should be hidden.
yeah, if the observer is 180 feet high and the distance is 30 miles. I'm just plugging in numbers here. So
Well, I mean, well, okay. I wonder what's it say? I'm trying to think about something that I could break because if we're not going to do something in millimeters, or if you're not going to do it like let's see what it says. Does it? Can you get to like 1 foot?
I'm not going to use the wrong tool for the job.
No, 1 foot. I said not millimeters.
But 1 foot over water?
1 foot over water. Yeah.
Do you have an observation that you
Yeah.
have done?
Well, I mean, there's I haven't personally done that observation,
Okay.
but there's multiple cameras that have been
Okay.
used
So if
for
you're
it.
at 1 foot over water, I'm going to change the coefficient of refraction to 0.5.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mm.
And what's the distance?
Well, same thing.
30 miles?
Yeah.
Okay, 266 feet hidden.
So 200.
Without having like an actual like
Let's try,
observation to look at,
let's
it's
try
tough.
6 miles. Let's try 6 miles and see what that says. Because I've seen them do tests over 7 miles.
There you go. 6 feet
6 feet.
hidden.
Yeah. Yeah, that it's off because if you look at like the line of sight test, it was 7 point whatever miles from where he put it on the beach, his camera on the beach, and he also showed the opposite beach when he was walking over there. But then he went and zoomed in on it. You can see where the water is lapping up against the thing. That's why I'm saying I know that there's a curve. I'm not arguing,
Yeah.
and I'm not even trying to argue on it. Honestly, right now, I'm not even in that mode. But I'm just saying, like, if we're gonna be able to, I want to help flat earthers come to the truth, man. I want to help everybody, like, anybody that's confused about it, come to the truth, even if I, even if I make mistakes along the way. But
so then the important question is, what was it that flipped the switch for you?
The cosmology.
Can you be specific?
Yeah. I didn't think that we could see Venus or Mercury. I called it Jupiter in my video, but I guess I made it. But yeah, I didn't think that you could be able to see it. And then once I realized that you can only see it when the sun's rising and when the sun's setting, and then I looked into it more, I realized that there's no way that would work if it's flat because the sun just rotates above us.
Okay. So. Yeah, your video. If people, you put up a video, and then you took it down because you realized your mistake, but you had inadvertently thought that Jupiter was one of the inner planets.
Well, what it was is what I was looking up inner planets, and then I had just got excited because I was thinking that Jupiter was one of the inner planets, and then because I've been reading about it, I've been reading about all of them really, and that was just the one that I brain farted and said. I was trying. I don't even remember now if I was thinking Venus or Mercury or whatever, but I was thinking one of those two, and I said Jupiter, but it wasn't even that. It wasn't even like that. I thought that you'd be able to see it. You know what I'm saying? Like all the time, or every night. I thought you'd be able to see Venus or Mercury all night, every night.
If the Earth were flat.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, because there's nothing ever blocking it.
Right. Well, yeah. Other than what I thought would be like the sun reflecting off of the water above us. You know what I
mean? Okay. All right. It scrolled off. Tim, let's see. I gotta take this down here. Tim Tully. A couple questions from the audience, if you don't mind. Tim Tully says, "Trust but verify." I think that's fair. Aaron Findley says, "I'm just here for the free tab. When do we get that?" Right there.
Nice couple.
Somebody made me this here, sent it to me. FTFE has a question for you.
Who's that?
FTFE? Fight the Flat Earth, Craig?
Oh, yeah.
He said, "What's the airspeed velocity of an unladen swallow?"
66.6.
You got no cred on that one there. The correct answer is African or European. That's the correct answer. So remember that for next time. We've got Batman. Batman says, "Excuse me, Toon. You are not authorized to use that bat signal. My lawyers from Wayne Corp will be contacting." I'm Batman. And then again, Batman says, "For £5. Pounds? Batman isn't British. He doesn't use pounds. He uses freedom dollars." He says, "To be clear, just because my lawyers are from Wayne Corp does not mean I'm Bruce Wayne. I'm Batman."
Secret.
Okay.
I got questions, man.
Okay.
You remember we were talking about the maps?
Yes.
Okay. Like the American, like America roadmap, or I'm still not understanding what you're saying about because if you spread it out like over 2,800 miles, like how much curvature should there be? Because I came out to like 890 miles on the Earth curve calculator. But if that's the wrong tool, what tool do you use?
Well, knowing how many miles of curvature, what would that do for you?
Oh, it would clear up how I can explain that away, even in my mind, you know.
What do you mean? So
How
so
you how,
it's
you- how you can have an accurate roadmap that you can get from Los Angeles to Orlando, say, and you know you're driving along it, and you know that it's accurate to scale because you're making the turns on at the right times, and it's got like the miles on it. You know what I'm saying? Like an inch is like two, whatever, how many miles.
yep.
But so if it's accurate as far as miles go and everything like that, and you can get from point A to point B, but then you add like that's what it came into play. Like I was wondering, well, okay, how much curvature is there in 2,800 miles, right? So I came up to 890 was what the Earth curve calculator gave me at 1 millimeter or height,
Okay.
and I figured that's about a quarter. Uh, Oh wait, no, wait. You know what? That might have been for Texas. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what it came out to. I think that's right. I think it was like oh no, it was 890 for the United States. So 890 miles, like when you look at that scale on the map, is pretty significant. Like it's like about an inch or more. So I mean, if I can't imagine putting an inch worth of curvature. Yeah, like if it were be able to fit over a ball, like if you can still get from point A to point B, but then if you have to wrap it around the ball and you have to wrinkle it, then you're erasing all those areas that are on the map. Yeah, like it
No,
shows America,
you've got it
but
backwards though. In order
what do you mean?
to take this and make it into a flat map, you have to modify it. Things get stretched.
That's what I'm saying. So when you're
So when
doing
you
that,
go back from a flat surface to the curved surface, you're not it's not wrinkles that you're getting rid of things. It's that you're unstretching the things that had been stretched.
exactly. So they're not stretched anymore. So
Yeah.
there's no more if they're not stretched anymore, then
Yeah. So the
it would
scale
wrinkle.
the
Then it would
scale
wrinkle.
will be off.
Well, but the scale is right though. That's what I'm saying. The
Well,
scale is right on the
but
roadmap.
no, the scale is off on any flat map. The scale is off.
It should
It's
be
always
way off.
off.
It should be way, way off, but
It
it's
depends. It depends on this on the amount of space and the type of projection.
2,800 miles.
But that's the curvature calculator is not telling you how much is added or missing in that stretching and unstretching. That's not telling you that. That's telling you how much of a distant object would be blocked in the horizon. It
Yeah,
has nothing to do with the amount of curve between you and
but
the other side, and it doesn't tell you how much the difference is between the chord length and the arc
what
length.
it's blocked by the horizon, right?
It's the vertical blockage a distant object bottom up. It has
From
nothing to do.
by
It
by
doesn't
the
tell
Earth,
you
right?
anything about when you're driving somewhere.
It's blocked by the Earth, though, right?
Yeah.
The Earth is blocking your view. So that's what I was wondering is how high or how much is blocking? Because if you can tell how much is blocked by it and how much you can't see of it, then unless it goes over like to the southern hemisphere on the ball, then you should be able to know how far below the horizon it is. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what that's telling you is how far below the horizon it is,
Yeah, but
right?
that doesn't tell us anything for when we're driving somewhere.
I'm
Because
not I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that it tells us how much curvature is in the 2,800 miles.
it actually isn't. It's telling you a different number. Um and I can draw that so that it maybe will make more sense. How about that?
Yeah, yeah. What do you come out with for 2,800 miles for curvature?
For it's a whole different thing, and I can. All right,
Well, I mean,
hold
it's
on.
a,
Let's do one thing at a time. I need my marker. My marker's missing. You know why? Christmas. Christmas present. No, I found it. I got it. You gotta write Christmas presents. Uh,
red and green.
gotta put things on Christmas marker. Tell who it's to. I didn't do that though. I never do that. All right, here is the curved surface, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we've got on one side, we'll go from New York. How about that?
Mm-hmm.
New York
Across the
to
Canada.
LA. All right. There we go. So if you are in the tallest building that's ridiculously tall in New York, so high that you could see some of a similarly tall building in LA.
It would be curved. It would be to the side and then pointed up. Is like that's it can't just be straight, because if it went straight out from Earth, you wouldn't be able to see it for a lot longer. It would have to curve towards your up. You know what I mean?
Yep, I'm getting there. All right, here's our two ridiculously tall buildings. Right?
Okay.
Now, if you're not at the top of one of these buildings, maybe you're somewhere up there, partway up in one of the mid floors of this this ridiculously tall building.
That's why I was trying to use 0, but it wouldn't let me use 0 at high
Here
level.
is your line of sight. You see that?
Mhm.
It's blocked by the curve, and that curve has that actually vertical amount has a name, and I'll draw a chord between them. You know what a chord is, right?
Line.
Yeah, chord is a straight line. There's the chord that goes underneath the curve there, right? It ignores the curve. And then right at the point where it touches, where that top line touches, there's the bulge. Some people call it the bulge. The more proper name is sagitta. Right there.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there's a couple things that are at play here in different numbers. So if you plug in an Earth curve calculator, you'll get this right here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and if you
top,
this is the sagitta, which
shouldn't always be at the top of it though. We're never on the side of Earth. We're always no matter what you're.
I can fix that. Ready?
Okay.
There you go. Now we're at the top.
No. Well, okay. Then,
See?
but I was saying, if you draw a line in the middle, in the top where that line is on the bottom, like in the very middle of the arc, that would be pretty much our position, right?
Well, no. If you're in New York, this is your position, right?
Well, I mean, it's 2,800 miles. It's not like almost half the globe.
Oh, it's way less than half.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, because it's like 1/10 of it.
Yeah.
So.
Well, yeah.
Okay. So the other thing now here, this is the really important thing. What's the formula that flat earthers love to use?
I don't know it by heart, but 8 inches per mile squared.
8 inches per mile squared. You know it by heart. You just said it. I'll show you.
There's more to it, I think.
Oh, I went off the top there. This line, this big one, and this drawing is way out of scale to even be useful. This tells us 8 inches per mile squared. So this gap right here would be 8 inches per mile squared.
Okay.
You see how huge that is? You see how when flat earthers use 8 inches per mile squared, this is the number they're getting and saying, this is the globe math. It's not. This is the globe math right here, this little one.
That's okay, so how much curvature is in 2,800 miles?
Let's say it's 10% of the Earth's radius. Let's say it's 2,500 miles, right?
Okay.
36 degrees of curvature.
Okay, so 36 degrees. Can you show me that on the paper?
I can show you on here. It's easier.
Okay.
It's about this much.
So hold it so that we can see that. Okay, yeah. No, towards you, the top towards you a little bit. So it'd be.
Well, it's tipped like this. This is how it sits in.
We want to be able to see just where like the middle of the United States is on the edge. Towards you. The top towards you. The top of it. Tilt it towards you. Keep going.
Oh, you want to? Yeah. Okay.
Right there. Yes. Okay. So right there. So now that amount of curvature is pretty much what I was thinking. That's pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But how does that help you know anything useful for if you're driving it? What does that tell you?
Well, it's nothing for what I'm driving, but what I was getting at is when you look at it like that, you got that amount of bulge. So when you said you have to take it from the ball, and then you have to make it on a flat surface, you have to distort it, correct?
Yeah, when you flatten it out, you have to distort it.
So when you undistort it and put it back on the ball, you cannot any longer now put it on a flat surface because it's now distorted back to where you'd have to distort it again.
It's undistorted.
That's right. So that's what I'm saying. So there should be, the flat map should have so much error in it that in order to be accurate, in order to get from address to address, you should be able to, you shouldn't have to distort it again to put it on a ball. It should be
sure. Now, when say you use one entire piece of paper map for the United States, and you're going to drive
wall map
from one city to another, and so basically it has the interstates and major roads. When you take your ruler and you put it up against there, and you're like, okay, well that's this many inches, and the scale says this many inches per mile.
Yes.
But there's no roads that are actually straight across like that.
Like I think it's 56 has the Bible Straight part where it goes through 2 states where it's straight. So I mean, I thought that was long enough to put on.
So what amount of off would be acceptable in a map? But what if it was 10% off? What if you measured it and you say that said it was going to be 200 miles, but it's actually 180 miles?
Mm-hmm.
What difference would that make to somebody driving on the road?
Well, somebody who's paying attention a lot, because they can look at their speedometer, or not speedometer, but the odometer.
Yeah.
And it would be a lot more than 20 miles that you'd be adding it for a 200-mile drive. You know.
Well, I said 10%.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Over
like
200 miles, if it was 10% over, then it would actually you'd measure 200 and it'd give you 180. How much would that impact that person's actual trip?
Well, if you're doing to and from like truck drivers, that's 40 miles. That's it would make a toll on the gas tank every couple trips.
You'd get better mileage, huh?
Well, yeah, you get a lot better mileage, and that's why they want the straightest route. You don't. That's why I don't get.
Now, people, just so you know, maybe you are the exception to this, but excuse me. People don't generally put their ruler up to there and say, all right, that's how it's gonna be, and if it's if it's off of any amount by that, they have a problem with it.
Well, but I'm saying like the wall map has the scale on it, and you can check it. It has 2,800 miles across from point to point. I mean, it's got the scale on it. I don't see. And plus, also, like, I mean, maps were drawn forever too. Like, that was another thing. Like maps have been drawn forever, and they never used a ball before they thought about it, before they figured out that ships go to the horizon. You know what I'm saying? Like nobody thought about it being a ball, but they've been
using spherical based maps for quite a long time. Columbus used the Imago, I'm pronouncing it wrong, I'm probably, Imagio Mundi. It's the book he used, which has a projection of the globe in it.
And he got lost.
Well, he didn't quite know what he was doing.
Yeah.
He had greatly intentionally misrepresented the size of the Earth so that he could get funding. He got lucky because because they didn't think that America was there. If America wasn't there, he would have had nothing, and he would have probably died, not made it.
All ship charts are still on Mercator, style. They're not globe-ish.
Mercator's a projection from a globe.
Well, but I'm saying though, they didn't know about the globe when they were navigating back then. Like, I'm talking about old pirate maps. Like, I'm talking about like, when they ships. It's Columbus. How about Columbus? You know what I mean?
Well, Columbus went over open ocean, but not a lot of ships at the time went over open ocean. A lot of them just went along coastlines. So when you go along coastlines, they're rough maps. They don't have to be accurate. They're like, it's about this far, about this far.
Well,
and there's this feature here and this feature here. So they weren't super accurate.
Well, I mean, they didn't have a globe that they were going by, is what I'm saying. Like, they mapped it by what they saw through their travels, and like those landmarks, even though they may be what do you say, like a primitive way to do it, those landmarks also they included a lot of details in a lot of those maps, and those maps had straight line measurements, and they weren't inaccurate. They were able to get there. And that's what I'm saying. Like, if it's a globe, like if you're using a flat map, it shouldn't be accurate. I don't think. That's just It's
They
good.
weren't.
I got.
Yeah, they were
You
not
know,
accurate.
I
So
get that. Well, I mean, they. You can still look at the Thomas guide. We talked about that before. The Thomas guides are all flat. You can put them on a flat surface and then they work.
well, you switched from pirate maps to Thomas
Mhm.
guides. It's a big gap,
Well, I'm just
big
saying, it's just,
difference.
they both lay on the table. You know.
Yeah. So the pirate maps were hugely inaccurate, and the Thomas guide maps just cover a single city generally, and similar to a road map across a couple states, that type of you're like, here's the name of this block and the name of this block and the name of this block. You don't go and measure the block lengths on the Thomas guide and say, oh, well, I was expecting this block to be 600 feet long and it was 608 feet long. What do you do in Thomas guides?
No, but if you know truck drivers and stuff, is what I'm thinking. You know, if that would
Truck
that would
drivers
add
do over the road stuff,
if they were
not
going through one
Thomas
city.
guides.
Well, if they were going through one city, say like then they're using the Thomas guide for that city, so they got eight on that one, and then eight on the next one, eight on the next one. It would add up. You know what I mean?
Did you think that people actually did that? Like
Truck
added up
drivers
the
do.
distances
Well,
inside a city?
if they're Thomas guides telling them that they're doing you know this amount of miles for a city, then you know they're not even using Thomas guides. I'm just saying, but like they're using road maps to say that you know there's going to be this many miles that you're going to travel through this city or this state, and you know if it was inaccurate, there would be a whole lot of truck drivers going, wait, that's not right. I'm over my back and forth country trip. I just spent you know
Yeah, but
80,
Thomas guides
80
don't cover
miles.
country roads. They only
No, but
cover cities.
okay, I'm switched again. I switched to the state maps or you
Okay.
know the USA map. Like it's they use it and it's got the legend and it tells you how many miles are there. So I'm saying like if they were to add up even if they were to add up 5 or 10 extra miles, their employer would be like, what the hell is this? What were you doing? Why were you driving 5 or 10 miles?
Why were you early?
Yeah, or that, yeah. But they couldn't be early because I mean, unless the Earth is flat, they'd have to be late. You know what I mean?
No.
They're not gonna get
No,
early.
generally because if you take a spherical thing and you stretch it out, you're stretching it. And so if you actually put a ruler, which people did not generally do and get very precise with, um, but if you were to do that, you'd get more. You'd say, oh, between Nashville and St. Louis, it should be, according to this map, which there's no straight road between them, so I can only do a rough estimate. It says 200 miles, but in reality, it's 182.
Hmm.
It just doesn't matter because
Hmm.
roads are not straight except for a few exceptions. So none of that matters. All this, I think you're off on the weeds in things that aren't really very important.
I mean, definitely because I mean, it can't be the way that I was thinking, but I just want to be able to explain it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And so when 3 years ago, when you went on about road maps, everybody
Hmm.
was like, road maps aren't that accurate. Nobody cares.
Well, that what I was thinking is you're able to get from address to address using a road map, but if you use a map of curvature, it's not going to take you address to address. You know, it has to be
No,
zoomed out.
but see, if I give you directions to my house, I
Hmm.
say, go on this road, and on the road named this, take a right, and on the road named this, take a left.
But you can't look at roads
The
on a.
distances don't matter a whole lot. And it's
No,
not
but
like a self-driving car that's like really dumb where it says, oh, well, there was 1 mile between here and here, and I'm supposed to turn right, but there's no street there.
mhm.
Right?
Yeah. Well, I
Nobody
mean,
does that.
like on a flight chart, you wouldn't even see those individual roads. You know what I mean?
Yeah, flight charts don't have roads.
No, because it's too
Yeah,
far. Like if
okay.
you do a picture of what you're mapping, if it was like an actual photograph, it would be too far away to see the road.
Yeah, and again, it's the same idea. It's the wrong tool for the job, since planes don't travel on roads. They don't care about roads as much.
No, that's why I was trying to use planes those because they didn't have to worry about roads.
Yeah.
Like I mean,
So
that was
yeah,
just a
and
straight line. But okay, oh yeah, that's another thing that like okay. So on a flat map, a flight route is going to look like it's got an arc, right? It's going to have a curve one way or the other. It's not going to ever be straight on the flat map.
so what they do in these right here that you can see on my wall here are Lambert conformal conic projections.
No, not the conic ones. I'm talking about a roadmap. A roadmap. Like you would look at a flight path on over a roadmap or a bunch of roadmaps put together.
Why are you trying to transpose flights onto roadmaps?
Well, I'm trying to say that like you would see a curved flight path on if you were to add it all up like on United States, say the United States roadmap, you would see a curve going from country to coast.
Oh yeah, so if you took a flight route and you put it on a Mercator projection,
yes,
you'll see a curve. Yes.
okay, that's what I'm saying. So that means that the straightest way over a Mercator is not from point A to point B in a straight line, right? It's got to be the curve.
It's still a straight line.
But then what is the plane doing? Why is it going out of the way?
It's not going out of the way.
That's where I get confused. I don't know. I guess I'm tripping on something, but I seriously don't understand how that works. If it's curved on the United States map, because it's a straight line on the globe, then how is it, because the straight line is obviously the fastest way from point A to point B. How is it not the quickest way from the East Coast to the West Coast on a flat map, straight line?
All right, I'll show you.
Okay. Yeah, I need to know that. I want to be able to explain that.
All right.
Really need that.
Here is Google Maps.
Yep.
Now, I don't know exactly what the projection is here, but we can see that the 49th parallel is straight. In Mercator projections, the 49th parallel is not straight.
What is this? Is this just zoomed in on? Okay, this is still using curvature.
So this is any map that's flat is going to be a projection. Every one of them.
Yeah. That's what I was wondering if it was like Google Earth where it zooms out and it shows a globe.
Yeah, and because I'm using this in incognito mode, it doesn't have my settings, so it's not going
maps or what?
It's not going to because I have my personal settings to when I zoom out to show the globe. But all right, so I'm gonna do, if I do measure distance, what it does is it and I'm gonna actually not go to LA, I'm gonna keep similar elevation here, right there. So there, this is similar latitude from East Coast to West Coast, and you see that the route is curved on this particular map, but it's actually a straight line.
But it's a flat map though. It's not a curved map, so it should be.
It's a flat map, and since it's a flat map, it has distorted the source.
Yes.
So there you go.
But I mean, if you were to look, so if you were looking at it like at a globe, that line would actually be down by where the United States is labeled, right?
That would be not the shortest route.
But when this is a flat map though, so if you extended it out, the straight line would be like if you put a string, the straight line would go across the United States where it's labeled.
Yeah, but that would, in reality, would then represent a longer route.
In reality, on a globe, the string going across the United States, that the East Coast, West Coast would go, the string would go like right underneath the United States label, right?
Yeah, but on this,
but so why isn't
on an actual globe?
Why isn't it showing it going underneath the United States though?
Because that's longer.
But
why would it do that? That would be incorrect.
Well, on a flat map, like if you want to go through, like where the Bible Strait highway is, it goes through 2 states, and there's no curve to it, but that is the fastest route to where you're trying to go. You can't go curving around the straight line and get there faster. So if it's a straight line is curved, the fastest route is curved. How do I explain that they can get there faster going on a straight line on a road map? Hey, I'm sorry. I know it's a hard question, and I'm probably just stupid. I don't know, but I'm just trying. I can't explain it, so I guess I need help.
There you go. All right, I'll say it again. That line between the East Coast and the West Coast on a globe is a straight line, but because that's a projection onto a 2-dimensional surface, of a three-dimensional source, everything gets distorted, including
Mm-hmm.
the line between them. And so that line gets distorted to look curved on here, even though it's not actually curved.
Yeah. So they don't actually fly over Nebraska or whatever.
No, this would be if you were to fly between these 2 points, shortest route.
That's where
This
they
is
would
the
fly.
route that the plane would actually take if they took just the shortest route possible.
Okay, so the 49th parallel on the globe, when you look at your globe, it goes from where what part of the East Coast to what part of the
Right here.
West Coast?
We got
No,
between
your personal globe that you had in your hand.
Vancouver and Lake of the Isles. Not Lake of the Isles, Lake of
No, I'm saying where you had it before, the United States one, the other one, the 2,800 miles.
why? You said 20.
The 49th parallel is what I
Yeah,
was really
here's
looking
the 49th parallel right there across the top of Minnesota.
for. Okay, and it goes.
And you see it's curving up there on this map. It goes all the way across over here to Vancouver area.
Okay, so it goes to Vancouver.
Yep, that's the shortest route.
And then, so now if you put a string on your globe, what is the string? Where does the
string on the
go?
globe will take that same route.
You don't have a string?
I don't.
Yeah.
But
okay. So
this is a little bit of a small globe.
is it?
So
Oh
you
yeah.
can't really see much of that there.
Well, but the 49th parallel, does it go the same way that curves on does it show the same line that you have on the map, the flat map, the Mercator?
Well,
Does a 49th parallel go like it does on the Mercator?
yeah, between Minnesota and Canada all the way across, yeah.
So if it goes like that, then that's what I'm saying. So if it's got that curve to it, but you put it on the flat map, like we know that it's the shortest distance is a straight line like that. That's miles and miles out of the way. If you were to travel cross country, the straightest point is when it's got it's got a legend, it's got inches, it's got centimeters, it's got millimeters showing you how much per mile. There's no way that they yeah, man, I don't get it, dude. There's no way that it could be like that. There's too many miles in between that you'd have to go out of your way. Like
it's not out of the way.
Well, but it's
distorted.
Not on a straight. It's not a straight line on the map. Which if you were to go on a straight line on the map, that's 2,800 miles. When you go on East Coast to West Coast, right? So we know it's 2,800 miles. So now if you put a curve to it on the flat map, which we're still using, we're not using a globe. So if you put a curve to that, and then you say that it's the fastest route, but we know that 2,800 miles is straight in between. Why if you put a curve to it, that's going to add miles to the 2,800 miles.
Yeah, so the road, if you were to drive a monster truck and ignore roads.
Okay.
Right, but then yes, it would be. But we don't have that option.
We have planes. That's what I'm saying. The plane would not have to worry about a road.
Exactly. A plane would take this line here.
Yeah, I get that, but why would it do that when the shortest distance would be a straight line? Like the 2,800 miles is
what you're seeing. This curve here
is a straight
on a globe is a straight line, is the shortest path.
But now I'm saying in reality, when we look at is the United States not really 2,800 miles across?
It really is.
Okay, so when the legend says that it isn't, it says that an inch has this many miles in it, or when a centimeter has this many miles or a millimeter has this many miles in it, you add those up, and a straight line will give you the 2,800 mile mark. Not
yeah. So let me show you this.
Yeah.
From LA to I'm gonna get real close here to New York, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right here I am, New York, LA. Yeah. It says 2452. Yeah, 2450 miles, right? But let's do this. Let's have it give us the driving directions.
No, I thought we were using the plane.
Well, we did the plane, 2450.
Wait, no, okay, no. Oh, okay, so the plane is 2450. Got it.
Yep.
But driving is just going to give you a bunch of different roads
Exactly.
out of it. I'm not saying anything about roads or anything like that. I'm saying that if it's 2,800 miles across and say like an inch is 500 miles, I know it's
All right.
not, but I'm
So
saying
here we go.
it.
2789 miles. So it's
27,
more than 200 miles different,
of
because you
course.
can't, and
Driving.
this gives us a nice thing. We can't take that route because the roads aren't there.
I know that you're missing my point though. What I'm saying is if 500 miles is in an inch, right? Then you add up the 500 miles until you verify that on that map, like you're looking at a Mercator style projection, if 500 miles is supposed to equal 2,500 miles after you add up 5 of them, right? And it does. So you know that there's 500 miles in 1 inch, which we do, and we've got the scale on the Mercator style United States maps. So if there's 500 miles in an inch in a straight line, now you put a curve to it, you're adding a whole bunch of miles, but but you're not coming up with a different number, is what I'm saying. You're using the same map, putting a curve on it, but your trip is now going not in a straight line, and you're adding more miles than the 2,500 that you were going to get with the straight line. That's what I don't get. Like if it's a straight line, and that's the fastest way, because only 20, let's say it's a 2,500 mile across from the East Coast to West Coast. You got an inch, which is 500 miles. You add it up, there's 5 of them in the 2,500 miles. And then you have a straight line connecting them, which is 2,500 miles. You add a curve to it. Now it's no longer 2,500 miles, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. So now our road maps have to be wrong. So like, how are they wrong? How are they wrong? How can they explain that it's wrong when you can drive it? You know it's 2,500 miles.
Because driving it, you have to take the roads that you have
Flying,
offered. That so
flying. Yeah, no, driving it still, it would be 2,500 miles.
well,
You're using
we
roads, but you're
can't
still
switch
traveling.
constantly between driving and flying.
Okay, then just use flying. It's not about the mode of transportation. It's about the line adding more miles to it or not. If you put a curve, there's going to be more miles, but we know that there's only 2,800 miles in the United States. So
I think the thing you're missing is all of this is calculated in 3-dimensional space on a globe, and then distorted to a 2-dimensional surface.
mhm.
So
but so that distortion would not fit back on a globe because it would be stretched out. So you have to
you just unstretch it then.
well, it's not going to be the same amount of miles on the globe that it was on the map because you're now taking away land again.
We're not taking away land. You're just
But if you
unstretching the land.
stretched it, you added the land.
We stretched it to put it on flat paper, then
Okay, so
unstretched to go back.
take 2,800.
Hold on. Somebody thinks that he understands
2,800 miles.
missing.
Okay.
King Edward V, King Ed V. I can help tell him that on a globe, the 49th parallel looks like a smile, not a straight line. That's his hangup.
Yeah, I get that. I know that. That's what I'm saying. But now you're putting that smile on that straight line as a curve on the flat map, which it shouldn't be. It should be a straight line on the flat map.
It should not be a straight line on a flat map because
If
it's
it's a
distorted.
smile, does that mean it's a straight line? It's a straight smile? I don't consider a smile a straight line. It's a curved line, right? So if it's curved on the globe, it should be curved it shouldn't be curved on the flat map.
I'm trying to find the messages from him because he says, "Read my messages. I know how to explain it. You're not understanding what is missing." He says, "Read my messages. I'm trying to help you explain it to him. You're not understanding his question."
I came here tonight to try to figure out more about the globe Earth and just try to make right. But now it seems like I'm in a debate again. I'm not trying to do that.
Yeah, I'm not finding. So the messages may be all scrolled off, the ones that he's trying to have me look at. Grab an orange, peel it, and then flatten the peeled rind. What happens?
You crush all the zest pockets
You
and
have to cut it up.
no, if you can stretch it, but you're gonna crush a bunch of the peel.
It'll split,
and it won't be flat until you wrinkle it.
Yeah, it's not
That's
wrinkled.
what I'm saying. What of orange peel? take a piece of paper that's wrapped around the ball, and then take that.
You can't smoothly wrap a piece of paper around a ball.
Listen, well, your globe some globes have like a plastic that's like put onto them, right? And then they paint on the globe. They paint on the plastic. When you take that plastic off, it's got a huge curve to it. Obviously, it's going to have where the ball was. It's empty where the ball was. So you try to put that on the table, and it's not going to be accurate. Like you put. I've tried to do it before. Like before I was even thinking about making a channel. Like you or thinking about doing it for my channel. You I don't even understand. If you put that on a table, you're gonna have wrinkles in it. But that's supposed to be.
If you put what on a table?
Okay, a plastic wrapped around a ball, like shrink wrapped onto a ball, so there's no wrinkles, right?
Okay.
And then you paint everything to scale on the globe, so everything's right?
Yep.
Okay, now you take that plastic off of the ball or the globe, and then you put it on a table. It's not going to work because you got too many wrinkles and too many places that are erased now, right? That's why we have to distort it to make it a flat map. I mean, right?
Yeah. If you were to take a plastic globe and then try to flatten it out, you'd have to cut it.
I'm saying put plastic around the ball and shrink wrap it so there's no wrinkles. Let's say we had it professionally done, right? And then you paint it onto the plastic and then just snip the plastic off, right? Use a razor blade, cut one line, and then you had just the wrapper, just all the land that's on the globe, just that. And you put all the land in water, like you have the whole globe. And you try to put it on a table, you cannot do that. It won't work. You're going to have wrinkles and you're going to have places that are erased.
Nothing's erased and there's no wrinkles if you go from a globe to a flat.
Then why do we have to distort it?
You have cuts.
Okay, that's right. Those wrinkles would be the wrinkles. You have to cut
wrinkles.
Well, you're going to cut those wrinkles out. That's where the cuts are. Right.
I'll show you one way to do it. So just a second.
Mm-hmm.
All right. There is one way. So that's one of the several ways that you could take an actual globe and put it out onto a flat surface. Do you see that?
Yeah, that's right. You're cutting all those.
Yeah. So there's no wrinkles.
No, there's wrinkles when you do that. Put it when you well. Okay, so if you cut out those pieces that were all together when you put it on the globe, like you've got those V's missing.
There's nothing missing.
So okay, so now then look at the distances between everything. If you put it on a table, America is no longer going to be the same distance. Like if you go 2,800 miles, now you've added what? In the middle of America, you got like another 1,000 miles or another.
There's a gap, yeah.
There's 800 miles there. That's right. So it won't be. You can't do it without erasing land, is what I was saying, or adding land too. You can add land or erase land in order to make it work, but you cannot do it by just putting it on a flat table.
There's another one.
Yeah, but you can't do that without adding those spaces where there's more miles there. So if it's to scale on the globe, then you got 2,800 miles. Is say a string would be like 7 inches for United States. Now you put that 7-inch string on that map, and you're gonna come up.
So you don't count the missing space.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Though, like the flat map is no wrinkles. So the Mercator is no wrinkles. Like it's got 2,800 miles in it, and then if you're accurate there, then you shouldn't. If you're gonna make it flat like this, how I wonder. Okay, how about this? If you were to have it like this, where you still got the curvature included, but you've got the spaces, what would a flight plan look like on that? Because that gap is going to make a V. Like if you got, let's say
you don't actually fly through the gap.
I get that, but I'm saying now, if you take that line and you stop it, say you stop in the middle of America on the I don't know, Lake Michigan, right? That's where your flight plan will stop, and like say you're going over. I know there's no gap, but like you're going across to the next part where it's mapped. That line is no longer going to be straight across from right there, or even a little bit curved. It's going to go from a little bit curved till it gets to till you get to Lake Michigan or whatever, Lake Superior, and then it's going to go a jolt. Like you're going to have a different angle coming back in because now that angle.
So do you think that a Mercator map is an accurate map?
Yes, I that the
is not.
2,800 miles with the legend is it's accurate enough to be within a millimeter.
No, not at all. A Mercator map is a distorted map of the globe, and there's
I get that.
inaccuracies in it. It's a projection.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, where are the inaccuracies? Where are we adding miles or subtracting miles in a Mercator?
So
You
get
can go
get
straight.
a ruler. Go get an actual Mercator map, like in a schoolroom or somewhere, or order one online of a single Mercator map of the entire United States.
Mhm.
Get the scale on there. Make sure there's a scale on it, and
Yeah.
measure the distance between any 2 points, and then use Google Maps because they use the Haversine formula to get the actual distance and measure it. The Mercator map will measure too much.
It'll measure. So the Mercator map is showing the United States to be a lot bigger than it really is.
Not a lot bigger.
But I mean,
a bit bigger.
Miles bigger.
Yes.
Okay, so if it's miles bigger and truck drivers are going back and forth, they would have a problem with that, and their employers would too.
But they don't fly. Truck drivers don't fly. They drive. They use
But
roads. And
but
like I
the
already showed,
but the scale shows.
no, but look at this. That's 2,500 miles by air.
Mm-hmm.
But it's 2,790, over 200 miles longer, on a road. So you can't take
the road
single.
curving, but the road is curving too. Now, if you had a road that was going straight line in between those, then
There are none. It
there
doesn't
is.
happen.
Draw a straight line through with a ruler. It can happen. It's a way to do it. I want to know, actually, you know what, Wolfie would be a good person to ask about this. Okay, so if he were to just say, let me see what happens if I were to try to go straight over a Mercator projection, over, like, you know.
That's what you're looking at right there. That's what this is. This curved
No,
line
but I'm saying
is a
across
globe, is straight on the globe and curved on this type of projection.
But I'm saying to go in a straight line on the Mercator, not in a curved line on the Mercator. I bet he can tell us, man. He can tell us, like, if he's.
Do you know what type of maps they use for navigation, air navigation?
It depends on if they're commercial or if they're in private plane.
No. They use Lambert conformal conic projections, not Mercator projections. Up on the wall here, I have Lambert conformal conic projections.
I know that. I'm saying now, if you were to draw a straight line across a map of America that's a road map or it's Mercator projection, and then if you were to fly
why would you ask a pilot about a Mercator projection? They use Lambert conformal conic projections.
I know that, but I'm saying I think it would be a good way to prove it, because now if he goes in a straight line, if you were to fly a straight line on a Mercator, that's it. Okay, look, if he was to drive or fly a straight line over this Mercator map, like go in between these two routes that you got, and then he were to prove that it is a longer distance, like say I don't know what cities are in the middle of that, because I'm not familiar with the Midwest, but if you were to fly over, one of those cities in the middle of in the middle of those two curved lines, and then prove that it's longer, that'd be a great way. That'd be a great way to erase that whole thing.
Yeah, nobody cares. That's the problem. Nobody cares.
All
right, let me hold on.
I don't want
let me do this. King Ed has he says the thing you're both missing is when they do the scales making flat maps, they use known distances and divide by size of map to get inches per mile.
They use the map. They know there's 2,800 miles across, and then they measure.
No, they know that between Salt Lake City, Utah, and wherever here, St. George, Utah, and Las Vegas, there's a certain distance on this road. Right?
Yeah, and
the road's not straight. They know that distance, right?
How does know that that the straight line is that curved one on the Mercator?
Just I'm trying to get the point here of what he's saying. Okay. They'll take these known distances because people have actually traveled them and have good understanding of the distances between them.
Yeah.
And then they'll say, all right, well, on this map, if we take St. George to Las Vegas, it's this many inches or millimeters on the printed map, but we know it's this many miles in reality. So that's how they get their scale.
No, that can be how they get their scale, but then when they put the scale onto a map, they would have to adjust for that.
They do. And
Well,
it's a challenge because you typically only want to give one scale. And so it's
yeah,
going to be over in some areas and under in others. They're going to average it out.
no. I mean, a certain distance on a map is going to be a certain amount of miles, right? If it's to scale,
It's inaccurate. You just have to get it through your head that a Mercator map is inaccurate, but the inaccuracies are acceptable.
Okay, but now how do I explain that to someone who is telling me that if it's accurate, how do we get from address to address? And how, if it's inaccurate, how do we get to address? And how come the accurate one, we can't get address to address? Like, I mean, it's like taking a picture that's zoomed in. Like if you're to take a picture of the United States from way above like this, like say you're in a satellite, right? You're taking a picture straight down. This would be like what you would see, right? But now if you're seeing that, wouldn't a straight line in your vision, like no any calculations at all, wouldn't a straight line be, from left to right, a straight line to you? It wouldn't be curved like that.
Road maps, you drive on roads. You don't fly.
Right? But you could fly over it. Just because it's a map of the roads doesn't mean you couldn't fly over them. Like there's people that fly over the same map.
But they don't use road maps generally.
But if they're using it or not, it's not the point. I'm saying that there's pilots flying over Mercator style projections, but they're flying in curved lines when we know that the shortest point from point A to point B is going to be a straight line.
Yes, and on a map, a flat map, there's some distortion.
Well, what about a picture from super high? If you took a picture straight down of a state,
it's a photograph is a two-dimensional. It's a two-dimensional thing of a three-dimensional surface.
Yes. So, you can see the 3 dimensions when you take a picture of a globe. You can see that there's the 3D to it. That's what I'm saying. Like when you get, we can't get high enough to see a globe is what I'm saying. So it would still be like a Mercator style projection when you look down, right?
All right.
So then
I think we have destroyed this horse.
Okay.
It is.
Yeah.
It is thoroughly dead. Okay. Let me read a couple things here. King Conquest says he's talking about drawing physical lines on a physical flat map. What is the distance on the map versus what it is on a plane? That should help.
Or a photograph.
A photograph, is in essence no different than a flat map because it's flat.
I know. That's what I'm saying, but it's also accurate. It's what we see. It's what we know is there.
Yeah. King Conquest again says flight line versus straight line drawn on a map and calculated with the legend.
Yeah, it's calculated with the straight line. If you put a straight line on the flat map, it's going to come up to what the scale says. It's not going to be scaled to a curve.
It will be inaccurate.
Okay, but
it's always going to be inaccurate. So, but it depends on what accuracy you need.
Well,
a road map can be off by a good distance because you're getting kind of rough ideas, and if it's not super accurate, you're okay. You've got the sign there that says. So if you're driving between St. George and Las Vegas, right, and the map you measure it on the map, and you're like, oh well, that's 80 miles, and then the road map says that's 72 miles. You're like, whatever, I don't care. It doesn't matter that much.
No, yeah, that's not at all my point.
All right, King Conquest says, again, you don't get straight lines for latitude on a flat map on a large scale. That's right, except for, it depending, of course, on the projection, but generally you do not.
On a Mercator, like that curved line is going to have certain segments of it. Say it's across a state. So if you got like Arizona.
You changed your microphone. You're a little soft now.
So if you're only going across a state, say, right? So I'm going across Arizona, that's where I live. So I'm just gonna say that. So like that curved line, if it was going through Arizona, it wouldn't be as apparent, but it still would be a segment of a curved line. So that's what I'm saying. Like if you're looking at a map of say Arizona, which is going to be a lot more accurate than the one of America, like you said, right? Because one of America is going to be inaccurate, but a map of Arizona, you can be a lot more dialed in, and you have to be for being a truck driver. So there should be a curved line that you're going through this on the Mercator in order to be getting from point A to point B faster than you would on a straight line on the Mercator, right?
You keep going on, you keep mixing between what a plane would do and what a truck driver would do. They're very different.
I'm not mixing what they would
A
do. I'm
truck
saying what
driver cannot
would
fly
notice,
like an airplane does.
but he would notice if he was putting more miles, if he was putting more miles than the scaled map of Arizona said that it was going. Like the scaled map of Arizona, a millimeter is going to be a couple of miles, or however many miles it is. And then if you were to go put that on his road and measure each individual turn of the road, he's going to come out with the same thing that he would come up with. It's going to be to scale, because that's what the scale's for. It's to scale. Like the legend shows you that this is how many miles are in this amount of a line, right? So if it's not a straight line across Arizona, then why does truck drivers try to stick to as straight a line as they can? Or if you were to go across desert, you would go.
Truck drivers take interstate highways.
But they take them because they're closest to the straight line as they can get.
They take them because that's what Google Maps tells them to take.
Before Google Maps was around, they took the same route.
Yes.
Right?
Okay. But
you can laugh at me. I know I feel stupid, but I'm just saying. Like, go ahead. Like.
All right. We got to keep going. Huge R's says this is like explaining 1 + 1 = 2 to a jellyfish. Yes,
is it?
Hugh. All right, King Conquest. Truck drivers account for extra fuel and time because they don't drive straight. Planes go straight, so they use minimal fuel. It's also more expensive.
They don't account for extra fuel and time. They account for to the gallon. They know exactly how much they're using.
They do.
Yeah. I thought we were getting off that subject, though.
Yep. All right. Chronic Avenger and several other people wants to look at the size of Greenland versus the size of Africa on a Mercator projection. So, all right. So let's see here.
Yeah.
That's a good one. All right. Here we go.
Yeah. I like that.
This isn't a Mercator. It's a square projection.
Wait, that's a Mercator though. It's pulled out flat, right?
It's you can call it a Mercator style. It's got a different name.
Okay.
But it's a similar thing. You can see Greenland. You see how big Greenland is there?
The big white one, yeah.
And you see Africa, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So they look about the same in there. Gotta get out of this. Get out of this.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna. Oh, this is not. How do I? All right, I need to change it to a globe here so that it does it better. I don't know how. That's not right. I don't know how on this to change.
To azimuthal?
No, to change it to a globe. All right, let me.
What's the picture of the globe, right?
What's that?
The azimuthal is the globe spread out.
No,
right?
No azimuthal. Azimuthal sucks.
Oh.
The AE maps are rarely used. Actually, it's not very useful. So, all right. Let's see. Oh, there it is. All right, I'm going to change what I'm sharing so people can see. There we go. Stop that. Now people can see it. I gotta switch it so you can see what I'm doing.
Oh, and really, I really wanted to figure this out because the $200,000 challenge I have still open, and I want to see if I'm gonna have to pay for that too.
No, so because Thomas guides don't cover the areas. So I did an entire video on how ridiculous that challenge was.
A map of American Mercator style would work fine.
Okay, no, not by your challenge. All right, so here's Greenland. You see how this? I'm not going to change the scale. You see how big Greenland is?
Yep.
Okay.
So how many miles?
How big Africa is?
Yeah. So how many miles is it right there from Africa to?
No. I'm just showing you this. The point is, I showed you already on a Mercator style.
Yeah.
That it looked like Greenland was bigger than Africa.
Yeah.
Right? Here's Africa. This is a pretty good representation because it's meant to be a globe. If you were looking at a globe, this would be pretty close to what it would look like. And here's Greenland.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying.
Significantly smaller.
Do planes fly over Greenland?
Do what?
Do planes fly over Greenland, or is it too far to the North Pole?
No, planes fly over Greenland. If depending on where you wanted to go, if you're starting in Seattle, maybe.
Okay. But you could start in the southern tip of Australia, and you still have to go into the Northern Hemisphere in order to get to the southern tip of Peru. So I don't really know.
All right, there. So from
yeah, see, that's a straight line. It's not a smile. Whoever said it would be
what do
a
you mean
smile.
it's not a smile? Look at that. It's a curve there.
Yeah, that's looking at it on.
And that's the thing when we're on a I don't want that. Get this over here. So here's again the can I get rid of that one? Darn it, stop it. So here it is again, right across the 49th parallel. You see, if I zoom in anymore, it'll switch. You see that? It goes up above the 49th parallel. Right there.
Yeah.
And it's straight. We can move it around. We can see that it looks straight here. And if we move it up there, we can see it starts to look curved because that's our
but if you actually put that line on a ball, it would always look curved if you're not looking at it straight. Like if you draw a line on your globe, that same line, it's not going to look straight when you curve it, when you turn the globe.
Exactly. The only time that a great circle route looks straight is when you're directly above it.
Yeah. So I thought you were just saying it looks straight when you go either side of it from this far out.
So this started by you asking, do people fly over Greenland?
Yeah.
And if they're flying from Seattle to Italy somewhere.
How many miles would it be?
Looks like 5,400.
5,400? Yeah. And then, so if you put that on the Mercator projections you had where it was super big, do they have a way to see how many miles is from point A to point B on that one?
It's going to give you the correct number because it's doing the math in 3 dimensions.
What I'm saying is it's not going to look the same though. It's going to be a lot longer line, you know. It's not going to be the same scale that you just saw right there.
I'll show you on a Mercator.
Yeah.
Let's see.
It's going to distort it, so.
Here. I have LAX to
over Greenland.
I need the Seattle Seattle to Italy. What's one in Italy? Oh, you're not seeing? Yeah, you're seeing what I'm sending.
The Vatican. How about Vatican?
I don't know the airport code offhand for somewhere in Italy.
Well, the Vatican would probably show you the closest airport, I think.
I need to type in the airport code.
Italy United Airport or something?
It's 3 letters or 4 letters. Let's see, Rome. FCO, somebody says. All right, let's see if FCO says something. There it is. All right, so there is Seattle to Rome. And there is on a Mercator what it looks like.
Okay, so now that's how many miles? That line is how many miles?
4,942.
So it's shorter.
Shorter what?
You said that the last one from there to there was, but that you didn't.
I didn't do the same.
Well, what was it?
I can do the same.
Yeah, it ruined it.
I'll move Seattle to Rome.
But even I mean, even if it were to show the same number, that line show a lot different curve on the Mercator, and it's going to show a lot.
Okay, there it is. This is 5682 miles.
Is that to the airport, to the Italian FOC?
FCO.
FCO.
Make sure this is. Yeah, Rome. Ooh.
It's not the same.
There you go.
Okay.
Oh, this is nautical miles. 4942 nautical miles.
4942, and then can you do nautical miles on the other one on the web?
This does everything in nautical, so I'm gonna have to manually convert.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I mean, if the other one showed nautical, you could get
No,
that.
it doesn't. Nautical miles to miles, 5687 miles.
Okay.
And on Google Maps, we get 5682 miles. So we're 5 miles difference, and I just guessed at the location. So there you go.
How is it 5 miles off? I thought it was the
because
same spot.
Both of these, like I said before, both of these are calculated using the Haversine formula, and then drawing it in 3-dimensional space and projecting it onto a 2-dimensional screen.
But your flight from airport to airport should still be the same amount of miles. Doesn't matter what you project.
It is the same amount of miles. Yes.
I thought it was like 7 miles different.
7 miles different. Yes.
Okay, so why is there a 7 mile difference?
Because I didn't put it on the airport on this one.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, so it is. So if we put it on the airport, it should be the same. Which I assume that even no matter what, it should still say the same thing. Like it's going to come up to the same calculation because
I don't know where the airport is in the. So yeah, so a 5 mile difference is not bad.
Well, but
for guessing, all I did was guess.
Yeah, I thought they were using the airport. Wait, what about LAX to the FOC? Or well, it won't go over Greenland, huh?
It's over Greenland.
If it went to LAX to FOC or FCO?
Why does it gets the southern part of it? Why?
Oh, okay. Well, I was just wondering if because now we have an accurate thing to go by. We know airport to airport. I was just wondering if it came to the same.
Yeah. All right.
Which I assume it would. But
Planar Walk is asking, what's a tangent line?
I forgot about that. I did not. Oh yeah, it's the straight line that's plumb, right?
Straight line that's plumb.
Or
no. Tangent is touches a line at a point. So on this one here, I've got a tangent here. This line going across here is tangent to the curve at this one spot. That's what tangent means.
So the tangent is where it meets, or just where it goes?
Where it meets at that, just at that point.
Okay. What's the point of that planar walk?
I think he knew, because you had trouble with that before.
Yeah.
RT96 says truck drivers use GPS. Mein Gott. I don't know what Mein Gott sounds German. King Conquest says truck drivers can be more liberal with margins of error and mileage. Pilots cannot as much. Yeah, pilots load the correct amount of fuel for long flights. If they have too much, then it's difficult to land.
Wrong. The truck driver is wrong on his miles. His boss is going to wonder who the hell he picked up, and fuck, he's not going to do that. He has to be correct on his miles down to the gallon for sure.
No, they don't.
But like I work
down to the gallon. No,
I'm for sure they do. Like I drive trucks too sometimes. Like I mean,
down to the gallon. Sorry,
down to the gallon. Because
your microphone got soft again.
Your boss is paying for your gas if you're working for a company, so he cares how many miles is put on the truck and how many down to the gallon. He cares. Yeah, every trip. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, is there any truck drivers?
If you're a gallon off.
Yeah, is there any truck drivers out there that argue with me, or do you guys get to sneak in gallons of gas on your boss's account? And
so we got Doug Breitenboss. Oh, I'm sorry if I got that wrong. It says mileage, yes. Fuel consumption, not so much.
If he's paying for it, then yeah, he's gonna know.
Mein Gott is my God in German. Okay. Rodent, no last name, says, I hope he's paying you tutoring fees.
Who? Me?
Yep.
Paying tune?
Uh, let's see. Big TB 1717 says,
I'm
ask him if he
trying.
knows a single truck driver who's ever put a straight line on a Mercator projection and used a ruler to
Yes.
measure their route mileage. Have you ever known of
Yes.
a truck driver to put a straight line on
Yes.
a Mercator
I
projection
know.
and
I
used a
know.
ruler to measure the mileage?
The scale, a ruler's already on your Mercator projection. Like you don't need a ruler; it's right there. But yeah, I know that they use rulers when they're judging the distances and stuff. Like if they don't do it across the United States necessarily, but when they're going on roads, if they want to make sure how many miles that they're going to go and it's curving, they have to measure this little bit of section of road, this little section of road. But I mean, that's only done like one time to figure out how much that route is going to cost them. You know what I mean?
Okay, so no is the answer.
Yeah, I said, yeah, no, like I've
You've
seen
never
that.
known any truck driver
I
to
have
put a
to
straight
see,
line on a
to
Mercator
see.
projection and use a ruler to match to
So
route the
you have to use
mileage.
their scale, the legend, in order to measure the roads, which have a bunch of curves and they go every which way. They can only go a straight line for so long, so they've had to use the measurements to figure out how much it is. They have to plot the route.
Yeah. Now you are aware. I'm going to say the VTuber Nezumi says gas usage changes depending on the weather. You can't freaking predict how many gallons you use because you simply can't fully accurately
Nope,
predict weather.
not anything. I'm talking about the odometer showing how many miles went on
Oh,
that
you
tank.
said you said gallon to the gallon.
Right. The odometer shows how many miles, and you paid this much for how many gallons, and your tank is now empty. They know how much was used. Or if you have to fill up, say you didn't empty your tank, if you have to fill up this amount of gas, they know that you were short that amount of gas, or that you still had that amount of gallons in it, and so they know they check that. I know they check. I know they check that. They check that even for small companies like mine. Like they definitely check that.
All right. Was there anything else that's a problem for you?
Well, okay, with the Earth curve calculator, that was kind of I was trying to figure out how to get the accuracy on it because fucking like the line of sight or like the lasers, it should be
All
okay.
right.
So if 8 inches per mile squared, how about this? If that's not the correct one, how many in a mile? How many inches should you not see?
What's that?
How many mile? Or if 8 inches per mile squared isn't correct, which is that's not even including observer height. That's just saying that's how much curvature is in a mile is 8 inches, right?
8 inches per mile squared is
Not observer.
almost never what anybody in the flat Earth discussion ever cares about.
What do you mean? That's what they use. 8 inches per mile squared.
It's almost always the wrong formula.
Okay, but I'm saying so
So,
now
like I said here, you
not
see
to
this?
like it should be if there's this amount of curve on water, there should always be that amount of curve on
Okay.
water. So how many
No,
inches should you see?
no, I'll tell you because I know the math. You don't do math. I can derive this. You cannot, right? Can you
Okay.
derive this formula?
No, but
Okay.
I'd like to do it.
So here's the curve of the Earth, right? You want to know when you're looking across water,
No,
how much of the bottom of an object should be obstructed.
no, that's not what I want to know. I want to know how much curvature there is
And how are you going to use that information?
because okay, yeah, I want to see how much curvature there is and then apply it to the how much you could see the horizon.
Okay, so you don't it's the wrong question. So 8 inches per mile squared is the wrong question, is the wrong formula. So here's the usually it's I want to know how much of a distant object should be obstructed bottom first.
Mhm.
That's what all these videos are always talking about. Well, if the Earth is a globe, then blah blah blah, and I saw
Right,
different. That's what all
right,
these videos are, right?
right.
All the time.
Yeah.
Everybody's doing this. All the flat earthers, is the one test that they can do. There's no other test that any flat earther ever hardly does. So then they get out the 8 inches per mile squared and they're like, I could see more. And they should because 8 inches per mile squared is the wrong formula. This here is 8 inches per mile squared. Do you see how far that is off? Because this is
Yeah.
the actual number that you want.
But okay, so then what's the calculation say for the correct one? How much should you know how much should wait a minute. So That is right though. Like if you're looking straight out, you should be looking into space from your horizon, right?
No, because the observer is here,
Yes. And then
and you're looking at the horizon, and then this part here behind the horizon is what they're concerned about.
but they're not concerned about being tall in a building. They're talking about being straight on the water, like at zero. You know what I'm saying? Like or 1 foot. Like they're trying to go to the smallest amount to say what is the most accurate you can get. They're going to the smallest amount, which is logical. I mean, I get that.
No, but they always go 8 inches per mile squared. They always use
Okay,
this.
but they still find that there's things that should not be seen that are still 1 foot across or 1 foot higher than the water or the ice, and they go like 7 miles and they're still able to see that object which is only a foot above the ground or above the water or whatever, the water or ice. I mean, if it's still only a foot, that's what I'm saying. Like the calculations
Right.
have to be
We got to do things one at a time because they build on the prior one. Okay.
Yeah.
So when you are at an elevation, when you're not right next to the ground, when you're at an elevation, right? This is the non-refracted number. So we're not doing refraction yet. You need to use the right formula. This formula, I can't just give you an 8 inches per mile squared type thing to it. It's a formula that you won't be able to do because I know you don't do formulas, right?
the curvature of Earth would be one formula, and it wouldn't be any.
It
wouldn't
is
be,
one formula.
Yeah.
Correct.
What,
it is.
What is it?
But you can't do that.
Can you hear me? What is the formula for the correct one? Sorry,
All right,
am I going
I'll
on?
pull it up, and then you
Okay.
tell me to stop when you don't understand it. Okay.
Okay. Stop.
Exactly. All right. Somebody here says we've got Danny for $5 says BS dude worked for Werner Swift, JB, BBC, May, and never once did I get called in for out of route miles or overburning fuel consumption.
How many times did you do it though? Professional truck driver.
Worked for Werner Swift, JB, BBC, May. That's 4 different companies.
So you had to be
Never once. So I'm going to say a good amount of experience.
But I'm saying, has he ever gone off track on their gas? Because that'd be a pretty. He'd probably get fired from his job for saying that. Number one.
Never once did I get called in for out of route miles or overburning fuel consumption. So,
how many times did he?
The formula for curve H equals R over the cosine of S over R minus arc cosine of R over R plus H0. All of that minus R. Did you get that?
R being radius?
Yes.
Okay, so what's the radius of 25,000 miles ball?
What's the radius? Just under 4,000 miles.
Okay, so it's 4,000 miles. So now you got the radius is going to be 4,000 every time you got R. So if you got that much curvature, so then let's say let's do an eighth of it, right? Or how much is the United States? The United States is what, a tenth? So let's go tenth because that leaves.
Why are you trying to use the entire size of the United States? You are not actually. I mean, this is just a farcical thing. You're not actually in a building that's that tall that you can see.
The equation. I'm not using that. I'm saying the equation that you just came up with. I'm saying, okay, so now you got, if once you use that, you do that, you calculate it, because I don't know how to calculate. You calculate it, right? So you calculate it, say you come with the correct answer. What is the correct answer? And you got to divide it into 10 to find out that there's that much curvature around from the United States.
It goes back to the question: what problem are you trying to solve? Why do you want to know?
Curvature was because I wanted to know how. Okay, say if you put the road map of the United States, how tall in the middle of it would that bulge be? Is what I was trying to figure out.
How are you going to use that information?
Well, in order to show that the straight line on a Mercator can't be the fastest route.
You're correct. Straight line on a Mercator is not this fastest route. It's inaccurate by an acceptable margin.
If you put a bulge in it, then and you stretch it, it would show that you got to go, even though it looks like a straight line on the ball, once you got it curved or puffed out, once you put it back on a flat mat, it should be straight. It should be a straight line but
All
you
right.
can't. If
But
it wouldn't be.
you don't even know how to use the information that you're asking for. That's the problem.
That's why I want to apply
Because
it. I don't
you don't
want
know
to.
how to apply it.
Well, okay. So if you just took a piece of your globe right there, set it on the table, the part that shows the United States, just like that little like quarter of a globe, right? If you're to put that onto, or actually just the part that shows the United States, if you were to put that part on a table, it would have a certain bulge to it, right?
All right. Nick Sykes
Okay.
says, flat out hero, I've been a trucker for 42 years. Is that long enough for you?
How many times have you gone off route on their gas?
Yeah. Never been a problem.
For who?
Yeah. He's looking to calculate the curve height from a chord line between 2 points in the US and the surface of the Earth.
No, that's not. I'm trying to use a calculation to get the
But
curve height.
what are you trying to then do with it? You don't even know how to do anything with that information once you get it.
I don't have to know how. I can just do it. I can put a straight line over the United States map. Okay, over that globe. I can put a straight line, and then if you were to take away all that, because we know the globe is accurate. So if I put that straight line across the United States, if I were to flatten it out, how do I make her see that even though you can't flatten it out, and then if you're to do it like you did, where you had pieces cut, how do I explain to them that that line continues through the cut, but it doesn't actually continue in reality like that?
I don't know who you're talking to. I think
You.
you're just trying to understand it yourself, right?
Yes. Oh no, I told you, yeah. This is I want to understand it because I'm hung up on it too.
I'll just say it again. I think you're asking the wrong questions. Huge arse.
Tell me the right ones to ask still. Like I said, I don't understand how
Uh,
it can be. I'm trying, man. I'm trying. You know
how
what I'm
about
saying? Like
this?
anything but try.
What you're trying to do isn't that important. And you're getting
See,
hung up on it,
what do you think is
for no reason. There's no reason to worry about this because the amount of introduced error is not that high. Not that high.
but it's I can't tell them that. I can't. And I can't even say I agree with that because if it's that distorted on a
It's
globe,
not
yeah.
and that's where you're wrong. It's not
Well,
that
just
distorted.
go onto it.
It's slightly distorted, and truck drivers don't use a single Mercator projection of the entire United States to plot their routes and measure the distances. They
Yeah,
use
that's what.
they use shorter things. That even in the past, they would
Yeah.
use a map that's just one state.
They show the highways. They take the highways. If they're going through a
And
state, yeah.
then
Like,
on top of that, maps, if you turn them over the other side, they typically have a guide on the backside that says, here's this city, and they have a whole bunch of cities listed vertically and a whole bunch of cities listed horizontally. And then there's this chart that tells you the number of miles between those cities. You ever look at those? They've already figured that all out for you, so people don't even need to put lines on the map.
I've seen one. Can you show me? You got the one behind you, right?
The one behind me is not a road map.
But it's not Mercator. Oh, only Mercator Road.
Did your
Only
brain reset in the last 2 hours? What is the name of the projection they used on these? I've told you before
mechanical.
many times.
But I'm saying like the one behind you.
Lambert conformal conic. Say it after me. Lambert conformal conic.
Lambert conformal conic.
Okay,
Now
it's not a Mercator projection.
one behind you, one behind your head, not your finger. One behind your head. Yeah. That's not a Mercator?
There's all of these maps here are Lambert conformal conic, and
Not
there's no
talking-
other maps on the wall.
Oh, I thought that was a map behind you. All right.
That's
Sorry,
curtains.
Okay. I wasn't even.
That's the curtains that my wife made me for this room.
Yeah, no, you're like half my screen, not even so it looks like a map. But all right, so a Mercator map will have the correct distances between cities instead of the front of it, which is incorrect, right?
A good road atlas or a good map of a state will have them, and I don't have any here. No.
I know, yeah. But any Mercator style like a good map that shows the cities and stuff will have the distances different than what they show on the front of the map.
Because you can't just take a string. because the roads are not straight. Because if you go from Reno to Las Vegas to Albuquerque,
yeah, they're showing
that
how much the
might
road.
be the quickest route, but it's
Yeah.
not a straight line because there aren't interstates between them.
Yeah. So it's just showing how much the miles the road is, not how much miles if you're to take a string. Yeah. Right. It's not showing the straight
All
line.
right,
It's showing
Hujar
the road.
says Toon is like a teacher in a special ed class waiting for that light bulb moment in the student that will never come. Someday, maybe. Should I hold out hope that you'll understand this? Geistview
I
says
hope
flat
so.
out, Earth curve is not a change in elevation. The bulge is not an increase in elevation.
It's hiding things from our view.
But when you're driving on a road, that doesn't apply, right?
No. Well, yeah, but not in the sense we're talking.
Mute donkey says, tell your wife that the curtains are nice. I think she heard that. She's just in the other room here, and there's just a door that's shut. Chronic Avenger says, let's see, you need to test the extremes of the map, such as the size of Greenland. Yes.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like,
and Lambert Conformal Conic has two secant lines across it where the actual horizontal distances are correct everywhere. North and south of it, outside those lines, are slightly distorted one way, and everything between is slightly distorted the other way.
Yeah.
John Rapp says, flat out here, nobody uses a Mercator for navigation. Actually, for sea navigation, they do use a Mercator. The main thing they use that for is because of
when you use Google, you spin on a Mercator style projection. Like that's the roadmap is Mercator style. It's doing it electronically.
It's a Mercator style. I don't think it actually is a Mercator because they use, there's lots of different projections that look kind of similar.
But the Google Maps matches up perfectly to printed Thomas guides. Before I did check that, the Thomas guide shows the exact same scale that you.
Thomas guide is tiny little sections.
Yeah, but when you zoom in that much on Google Earth, it does show you the same thing. You can zoom in and find that same scale.
All right. Junk Shop Library says, ooh, the infamous curtain projection. Of course. How could we forget? Planar Walk figured it out.
Oh, yeah?
He said, the problem is Flat Out here is using curtains to navigate.
Yeah.
All right. Rocky Bixby says, MC-Toon, can you put a piece of tape on your globe and show them as you rotate the line away from you, it gets compressed from your point of view? I think I can. Do I have tape? Electrical tape. All right. Here it is. Just a random line. There it is. You see that?
The tape, yep.
All right. Now, your notifications are going crazy. All right. Now here at this angle, you can see it's straight. It looks straight, right? But when it's up here, look at that. It's curved.
Yep. You can see less of it.
And when it's farther away, it gets smaller.
Yep.
Look at that. That's called perspective.
Yeah. It'll come to a point where it vanishes because it gets too small.
It will never vanish, actually. There's no such thing as vanishing point. That's just an art term.
Doesn't airplane get high out of view and then you can't see it no more, even though it's still in the sky? You can see it.
Not seeing it is different than vanishing point. If it's too small to make out the details, that's what happens.
It comes to a point and then you can't focus on that point anymore. It's called a vanishing point.
There's no such thing as in reality as vanishing point. It's just an artistic.
So I can see from the ISS. I can see you.
With enough zoom, with something that's got a large enough iris, yeah.
I'm talking about with bare eyes, like you when you're watching something come to a point, it doesn't stay a point in your vision; it disappears.
Well, why are you saying with your bare eyes?
Because that's what I'm talking about. Perspective has nothing to do with anything but what you see. right?
No.
Wrong?
Oh
What
my
is
goodness.
perspective? Not what you
All
see?
right.
Wait,
Big TB 17 says, oh my gosh, I got it. Sorry. Says, plus, as MC Toon said earlier, the scale is an average and it isn't the same at all points on the map. The scale is an approximation.
not for Mercator, the roadmap. It's not. It's actual scale. If you measure across the United States, it comes to what that scale shows.
It is inaccurate.
Well, it shows that it's 2,800 miles across, and the
It
legend is
is inaccurate, but it's not. It's acceptably inaccurate.
yeah.
Oh my goodness. Danny is a new member. Thank you very much, Danny. We got Norman Dixon that says, I used to drive a lot for my one job. I used an ADC map book that were probably 40 pages. They are broken down by the county, sometimes even an individual city. So when you have a map projection of a small area, the error gets significantly smaller as well. So a single map of the entire Earth cannot be, it's going to be extremely off in some ways, in some areas.
Okay, so how come it's not?
What's that?
How come it's not? How come it was the distorted map is not off? Like we know that that's how many miles across the United States.
It is great. I already showed you.
No, okay. If you
I
have a
showed
scale,
you Greenland,
I
which
get.
is on the
I'm not
extremes of the
talking.
Mercator map, and
We're talking
Africa, which is in the middle of the Mercator map.
about.
How drastically different in size they appear.
Yes, that's because of the way that they appear. Now, but I'm saying though, like when you draw a line straight across America on a flat map, on a Mercator map, and it says 2,800 miles across from here to here. Now, if you're in a plane or if you're in a car, it doesn't matter what you're in. It's still from point A to point B, 2,800 miles across. You might not be able to get there in a car, but it doesn't change the fact that that straight line is 2,800 miles across, right? It doesn't matter if I'm walking in a plane or on a scooter. The distance from point A to point B is still 2,800 miles, right?
Okay.
Okay, so now if that's 2,800 miles in the scale on the map, on the Mercator shows that that's 2,800 miles, like that scale is broken up in the parts, it's 2,800 miles. You can measure it, it's easy to
All
see.
right. Do
So
this
now,
then.
well, no, no,
No. We're gonna have to wrap this.
let me finish
Get
it. Like,
a single Mercator map of the entire United States.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Measure to the closest millimeter between 2 points.
Mhm.
Okay. And then we'll apply that to the scale. Do that,
Okay,
send it to me, and then we'll talk about it, okay?
I'll make a video. Yeah,
All
'cause
right. I've got sorry, I'm coughing. I need to
yeah, you got the COVID or what? Yeah? You got your mask on?
I have allergies at this time of year especially.
Oh, that's it. Arrest him. Arrest him. He's got allergies, people.
Yep. All right. Let's see. I've got another guy, an Australian coming up, Danny Seppings, in 10 minutes. So I need to get this going ahead here. It says, let's see. Geistview says flat out, a jet will disappear from view, yet the much smaller collision lights will still be visible.
No,
There went
not
your
true.
vanishing point.
Not true. Not true. You can't see lights that aren't bright. Like you can't see me flick a lighter from a mile away, even though
No,
you
no,
can
no. The
see a
collision
mile.
lights are not a lighter. The collision lights are
No,
bright.
it's a light. And you're okay. So if you put headlights on a car, can you see it from more than a mile away? No.
Of course you can. Okay.
Well,
Unflat
okay,
Earth for 10 New
then
Zealand dollars
for
says
5 miles, can you see 5 miles away? The
four.
headlight?
Oh, no, we're moving on.
10 miles, because the vanishing point doesn't exist. So 10 miles, that light travels further, it's forever according to NASA. So that light should travel no matter what to you, right? Because there's no vanishing point. I'm not talking to you, Tim. I'm talking to do the text of that. So that's if you don't understand the problem that I'm having with that, I don't know what else to say. You can't see
You
light
can see
forever,
light.
not forever.
You can see lights that are smaller than your angular resolution.
Well, you can't
So
see car headlights from 30 miles away. So if
so
you're in a plane, you can see car headlights. It's
all
impossible.
right.
But
Geistview. All right.
if
Geistview sent me
you
something here.
you're in the car, see how that works.
Hold on. I gotta.
One way you should be able to see it the other way. Staying the same distance.
I will happily teach you about
Oh, what happened? How about
how
that?
the Rayleigh criterion actually works instead of the flat Earth version of it that you've received.
Flat Earth version of what?
Of the Rayleigh criterion.
What's that? Is that the RRRR?
The
Calculation?
RRR. No, I don't know what you're talking about.
The not
Just
made
a second. I'm going to
interest.
show you something from Geistview. Let's see. I don't know what this is. This is an interesting thing from Geistview.
As you know.
Yep. What was that?
I'm getting.
Are you getting a phone call?
Usually I can catch them quick.
All right. He says, zoom in on Australia.
Yeah.
Same
I
scale,
can't
just
hear you
rotate.
now. Tim, I gotta. If you want me to call back in right now, I can call back in. If you can nod, let me know. Or do you want to do the Australian guy? Just
no.
nod yes, or shake your head no, so I can see. I can't hear you.
You got to go. So
No.
yeah.
No. Okay. Yeah. All right, everybody. Well, I hope everybody's doing good, and I hope that this was beneficial to somebody. Have a good night, Tim.
All right. Thank you. All right. So this is Geistview. I'm gonna end the call there. Stop share. Oh, he's out. Okay. So yeah, they're what is same scale? Just I'm confused. It looks like two versions of it rotated. Oh yeah, Australia there is way larger than the United States on this one. You can see it's kind of faint across the United States there. That's yep. But in reality, it's not. Yeah. He struggled with that so much. Chronic Avenger says, use the size of America as a reference to measure the size of Greenland on Mercator. Yeah. Don't know if he's just if he's trying to fake or something. King Ed V says, I learned to make maps in military flat out. And yes, the scale is an approximation. The deviation varies based on latitude. He just really thinks that a Mercator is a perfect map for some reason. He can't get that passed out of his head. And then Daniel Dyer is a new member. So thank you very much, Daniel. So here's the question. Is Flat Out Hero actually no longer a flat earther? This conversation was as tedious as every other conversation I've had with him. That doesn't mean that he's not a flat earther. There are people that just don't understand these things. I can get that. You don't need to understand these things. Everybody has different skills. So yeah, we've got Eileen is not in on it, not thinking. I'll do a poll. Tell you what, I'll do a poll quick. And all right. Vote quick, because I got to wrap this up and to get on to Danny in a bit here. The nice thing is he said that he definitely thinks he does owe me. So that's a good thing. Ooh, we've got the OG Ken G. Changed his name to OG Ken G. I love it. 82 says, my read is that Flat Out Hero is stubborn, ignorant, and dishonest towards many people in his life, personally and professionally. Yeah. Now, to be clear, my challenge, or my response to his challenge was, give half of the money to World Vision, a charity that I chose as where I wanted him to send the money, and hold on his honor. I'm not going to check. The other half, hold in escrow, and I will do flat earth challenges. and any winners of that challenge, then he would pay. But the Earth would have to be flat for anybody to have to win the challenge, so his money is safe. I will never receive any money from him if he 100% agrees that I won the challenge. There you go. This is Paul. Yeah, I don't think he knows what escrow is. We've got no, 149 votes. No is winning pretty strongly. There's 500 people watching almost. So get your votes in. I'm going to have to wrap it up here. I've got this next one coming up. An Australian flat earther, nice guy. We're going to do like a interview style. So anyway, let me do this. So thank you very much for everybody joining. Planar Walk and FTFE and I talk with Flat Out Hero quite a bit privately, and we're always trying to teach him. It's been 3 years. So who knows? On Saturday, we've got a debate on whether or not you should tell kids about Santa. That's hosted on the SC Toon Show. It's in the chat. I'll throw it in the description afterwards. You can just search for SC Toon Show. After that, we're trying to set up an evolution debate and looking towards things like vegan, debate on veganism, a debate on a fun one on professional wrestling with Jesse 10-2 and D-Bonk. So that should, we're trying to make sure we can get that figured out. So anyway, that's what we're working on. Should be interesting on the SC Toon Show. Next week, I've got 33 UC coming up. So I hope that is something that is just as whatever. He's going to say 33 a bunch. So anyway, thank you, everybody. I will see you in just a couple minutes.